I mean, seriously. Justin sought out a potion that defies the laws of nature just so he can spend at most an extra hour with her each day, so Marina shouldn't be worried about being friend-zoned. Why on earth would she ever think that he intended to go back to Cecily?
It just don't add up!
If you think I'm overreacting, this is such a low that even Justin was offended.
Will you please just listen to me?
No, I'm not gonna listen to you anymore. Why did you do this to me? You've been lying from the very start. You've always loved her.
What?
Oh.
You're wrong. You've never been more wrong. Oh, please, I'm insulted. You really thought I could send a love letter to Cecily? It was for you, Marina.
Oh.
Silly, I love you.
Marina wasn't the only one written out of character. Dudley was also a lot meaner and more competent than in any other episode. It's not as bad, but it's still pretty jarring seeing him like this. Also, he rips off a line from Disney's Little Mermaid.
Look what the catfish dragged in.
Well, look at what the catfish dragged in.
But seriously, that is the least of the episode's problems. There is no way Marina would naturally be that stupid, but I eventually realized the one character missing who could have made that part make sense. Hedwig. Of the 3 episodes she does not appear in, this is the one which really could have used her. Queen Catherine did more damage to Justin and Marina's relationship by accident than Hedwig ever managed to on purpose. Here's my idea for a rewrite. I would have Chauncey drop the package which is picked up by Cecily, who would realize it was meant for Marina but decides to publicly announce that it was an engagement present from Justin. Privately, she would tell him that if he denied this, that could cause a war between their kingdoms. As this is going on, Hedwig would cast a spell on Marina that makes her less trustful of Justin, or maybe even hear everything he says to her as hurtful and insulting even when she gives him a chance to explain himself. And to top it all off, who is waiting to back up Cecily's kingdom in their war against Gandor but none other than Prince Lothar. This revised plot would have all 3 of the villains coming together to form a triumvirate of evil that forces Justin to choose between his kingdom and the love of his life. It could have even made for a great series finale, but at least the one we got was still a bit better than this episode. It's ironic because this episode has one of my favorite things about the series, that Marina and Justin have known each other for a year. At least it was ultimately good for something.
On the day we met, you touched me as the sea touches the shore. Since that day, my heart's been yours. Love, Justin.
So Marina and Justin's love is still strong, and they'll continue to search for a way to bridge the gap from sea to shore.
Possibly the worst thing about this episode is that it's not only one of 8 episodes released on VHS, it was the last volume in the series. My other least favorite episode, The Quest for the Golden Tablet, was released right before it, so the run couldn't have possibly ended on a worse note. Something I couldn't help but notice while looking at these tapes was the fact that a couple of them make the bold claim that this series continues where Hans Christian Andersen's classic tale leaves off.
You serious?
Oh, Saban, not you two. In their defense, this shilling for the original story is on an outdated piece of home media, not part of the actual show. But even so, I was looking for this series on VHS as a kid. I never found any, but if I had stumbled across one of the tapes with that claim, I would have been like, no wonder this is the best Little Mermaid ever. I need to read the original story. I had enough trouble handling it when I was 10. I don't know how I would have reacted if I was any younger.
You'll be crying early today, boy!
Speaking of VHS tapes, one of my favorite home video trailer memories was when I saw that Fox Kids video included this series in their lineup.
And the Little Mermaid.
Come on, follow me!
Even though I could never get my hands on that tape, it was still really cool seeing one of my favorite obscure anime included here amongst other great shows like The Tick and the best Marvel series outside of X-Men. Although the tapes for Iron Man and Fantastic Four contain episodes from their lackluster first seasons and not the amazing second seasons, so Saban's Little Mermaid would actually be in my top 4 selections from here. Regardless of how high it ranks, I always felt like they went out of their way to endorse such a lesser-known series, and that's enough to get a thumbs up in my book.
Where kids of all ages can meet the coolest characters in family entertainment. Fox Kids Video.
There are a lot of great episodes in this series. I would do a countdown of my top 12 favorites, but I have already touched upon so many episodes it's best if I just do a top 6 list. I will say that the honorable mentions include Song of the Sea Witch for being interesting and a near victory for Hedwig, A Mortal in Mermaid's Clothing for showing that you can have a very effective villain besides Hedwig and Lothar, My Bonnie Lies Under the Sea for being the funniest episode of the series, A Rose by Any Other Name, which, despite showing one of Hedwig's biggest mistakes, is actually one of my favorite body-swapping episodes ever, so I am saving it for a countdown of those. And of course, Return to the Sea for almost instantly selling me on the series. But then it wasn't hard to impress me going from Ariel singing under the sea to Marina almost dying under the sea. With that said, let's move on to the real countdown with number 6. Valley of the Volcanoes, or as it's called on the Region 2 DVD I have, Big Best Friend. Hedwig lets Bobo overhear that she is going to hide the golden tablet in the Valley of the Volcanoes, but when they get there they find a monster called the Gargoyle waiting for them, who captures Justin, deciding to keep him as a plaything to amuse himself.
I like this game of yours. What's it called?
Fencing.
You're a very good playmate, and I like this game a lot, so I'll keep you here forever.
Thanks for the invitation.
For starters, I love how Hedwig notices Bobo and decides to use him spying on her to her advantage. It's a great example of her competence. I love the atmosphere in episodes where characters go to specific places, and this is my favorite example of that in this show. We also get to see one of Winnie's most awesome moments when she tricks Hugo into being blasted by a volcano. But what really helped make it to my top 6 is the Gargoyle, because I think that he is a really cool antagonist despite not knowing his backstory. Where did he come from and how can he breathe underwater? We may never know, but he really makes me wish we had gotten more fantasy monsters to help make the world feel more alive. His design reminds me of the bosses from Maximo Ghost to Glory, especially Ghastly Gus. Maximo even attacks him the same way Justin hits the Gargoyle at one point. The Gargoyle is so fearsome that he even manages to overpower and capture Hedwig. The episode ends with her in his clutches humorously begging to let her go. Because this is half anime and half Saturday morning cartoon, Hedwig escapes between this episode and the next, but it was still very satisfying seeing her intimidated by him. There are definitely episodes with stronger characterizations and meatier stories, but this one was just a lot of fun.
I have responsibilities, people to persecute, populations to oppress, do-gooders to deceive, not to mention wronging the righteous, rewarding the wicked, petty theft, larceny, and tax evasion. Put me down!
Number 5. Nature Hike. Hedwig hires Lothar to capture Justin while he is taking Marina to see a waterfall. Lothar decides to take Justin back to his kingdom as his prisoner, and while all this is happening, Marina's potion runs out, so she is stuck on land as a mermaid. This episode features something I wanted more of: Lothar as an independent villain whose interests are at odds with Hedwig's. It really shows just how dastardly he could be, as this episode implied that he was going to torture Justin.
There it is, Justin. We're nearly home, and I just know that you're thrilled to death at the thought of renewing the warm friendship that we forged in the recent past. I'm afraid I didn't hear your answer, Justin.
You were talking enough for both of us.
You'll soon be talking your head off to save your neck.
Soon you will be begging me for mercy, and you will find that I have none.
This is the most violent disagreement he has had with Hedwig, as she is so ticked off at his betrayal that she transforms Dudley and 4 other sharks into armored soldiers on horses, resulting in a battle between them and Lothar's men. While it's sadly off-screen for the most part, we see Dudley beating Prince Lothar and looking pretty cool while doing so. This episode also shows Marina getting back to the sea by befriending a fawn whose mother lets her ride on her back. It's a very nice moment. There are other neat touches in this episode, like the map Lothar is shown reading is surprisingly detailed. The solution to overcoming Dudley and his forces is simple. Anselm just makes it rain for the second of 2 times in the series, which turns them back into sharks.
As I thought, Hedwig's magic is still as weak as water.
Despite this anticlimactic finale, I still love this episode for the atmosphere and attempting to be different than a typical Prince Lothar story. Add in the usual good comedy from Dudley and Hedwig, as well as some sweet moments between Justin and Marina, and you have another example of this show at its best.
She makes a lot of trouble for herself.
She deserves every bit of trouble she gets for trying to kidnap you and hold you for ransom. I'm the only one who has any right to capture you.
Well, I sure wouldn't mind that.
All right, we've got a deal. Confounded!
Number 4. One man's bread is another man's poison. Hedwig gets the idea to make a pie with sylphin, a plant that mer people eat but is poisonous to humans. With the help of Lothar, she gets it into the hands of Justin, who eats it. After getting Anselm to stay with Justin, Marina goes off to find the cure. This is the final appearance of Prince Lothar in the series, and as a proper send-off to the character, it's a mixed bag. While this is the closest he has ever come to victory, he spends half of his screen time in his goofy print boxer shorts after getting knocked out of his armor by Justin during a tournament like he was Maximo or one of the other Ghosts and Goblins warriors. Weird, but kind of funny. Despite that, I would say that this is one of the most dramatic episodes, as you really feel the peril Justin is in. I know I played the clip of him collapsing earlier, but kudos to the sound editor for choosing a very ominous thud followed by an effective music sting.
But just today, my father said that human beings are poisoned by sylphin. Oh, Justin! Justin, wake up! Please, Justin, wake up! Don't leave me. You mustn't die. You're going to be all right, I know it!
That is not the cartoony thud you usually hear when a character faints. It sounds like he lost complete control of his body, and combined with the music perfectly conveys how bad the situation is. Danger Mouse was right. Sound editing as well as music are very important, and sound editors can be heroes too.
Riders, drop a truck on them. Oh, and make it an ice cream van. I'm hungry.
Steve, a boing, if you'd be so kind.
What?
There are other nice touches, like some of the animation during the tournament scene. Also, I just realized that the animators have no problem drawing human crowds, which makes me curious why they never did crowds of mer people. Marina's grandmother Serena tells her that the only plant that can cure this poison grows in the sea witch's lair. After giving her cloak to her granddaughter, Marina bravely sets out to get it.
My granddaughter has found her true love. I hope he's worthy of her. Marina, take care to protect yourself against all enemies, for there will be many.
This is quite possibly the most heroic moment Marina has in the entire series. She stands up to Hedwig without any of her friends, and you can feel the tension during this confrontation thanks to some vivid expressions the characters have. Kudos to the entire production staff for bringing their A-game with this episode. Even if Winnie had to save her at the very end, the fact that Marina made it that far on her own is very commendable. I really like that the heroes had to get the cure on their own and didn't have Anselm conjure it up through magic. Marina, of course, gives Justin the antidote, and their reunion is very sweet. It even ends on one of the closest things we see to a kiss in the series. All in all, just another great episode showing some of the series' strengths.
I'm sorry, I must have fallen asleep.
Justin! They're both gonna recover.
It certainly looks like it.
I'm so happy you're back with us.
Well, time for us to return to the festival.